You have seen parents checking in with their children in scenes like this one from Desperate Housewives, no doubt. Well, now some divorced parents are using the same technology to see their children. It's called virtual visitation, and advocates say it strengthens the relationship between parents and children who live far away from each other. Now, there are others who fear that it could lead to families seeing each other even less. Joining us now are parenting contributor Ann Plachette Murphy and father and daughter, Charles and Ariel Mason, who were featured in a New York Times story about this new technology. Good morning to you all. It's part of our American family this morning, and we really appreciate you traveling to be here. All right, Annie, tell us first off, virtual visitation, what exactly is that?
I know, for those of us born in 1905, it's really amazing because basically most laptops come with a web camera. So it really becomes a way for parents to visit, in other words, add a photo to a telephone conversation. So you can either have that conversation through instant messaging, through the phone, or actually through the computer. And it's not a difficult thing to set up. And it's one of these things that should be seen as a supplement. It is not a substitute for being together, which Chuck and Ariel are every summer and at other holidays, and that's the most important thing. That this is not something that becomes the only way you visit with each other.
And some states recognize it, others do not, and some.
Well, the interesting thing is that the reason it has gone to court in some states is, I think, as much to educate judges about this as a possibility as anything else, because a lot of them are behind the curve and they're suspicious of it. And there is the question: will it become abused by a parent who wants to move away and justifies the move by saying, well, you can just visit them virtually?
Yeah, I can see that concern there. So, Chuck, you live in Virginia.
Yes, ma'am.
Your sweet daughter here, her mother moved to Colorado, 1,500 miles away, and you had to put into court papers that you would be able to do this?
Yes, ma'am. I was given visitation 3 times a year, but there were so many gaps between those visits that I asked the judge to add into the order virtual visitation. I'm a technology professional, and I suggested that we could do this if mom and dad work together.
And this is, again, in addition to the times that you're able to see her, not in lieu of being able to see her.
Not in lieu, it's in addition.
And it's also not haphazard. I think one of the concerns that some parents have is that any time Chuck wanted to, he could just tune in and be in Ariel's room and communicate with her. This is very controlled. They have set times. How often do you do it?
Monday and Thursday, twice a week.
And then when it's finished, the computer gets turned off.
It's like shutting the front, shutting the door.
Exactly.
Mom and dad ensure we log off.
Do you enjoy it, Ariel? Do you enjoy talking to your dad by computer?
Yes.
What do you guys talk about?
Yes, it's very fun because we get to find out more about each other, which we don't really get much time to do that when we're away from each other.
Yeah.
So this is a solution to that problem.
And also, like, didn't you lose a tooth? Show us. Didn't you lose a tooth back there? So you were able to show your dad on the webcam that you lost your tooth?
And play the piano. Did you do a piano recital for him? I mean, I think obviously if you've ever tried to have a meaningful conversation with a younger child, not Ariel, but particularly some kids who all you get is one syllable.
They're distracted if they're on the phone, right, Chuck?
We've been doing this for 9 years, and after 5 minutes on the telephone, I've lost her. But with the computer and the internet, I have her for hours. We play checkers. We share photos.
Show us a little bit. So how does that work? So you have your computer set up, and this is a webcam here.
You just look into the webcam like this, and you can tell people about, you can have a conversation with the other person, and you can get to know them better.
And you do that not just with your dad, but your grandmother and other friends. You use this?
I talk with my mom, my friend Alexis, and my sister Stephanie.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, because her mom now gets the benefit of it when Ariel's on the East Coast.
And you have another child, Chaz, and his mother does not want to have this virtual visitation. You're not allowed, the courts don't allow that where he is.
Exactly. The court in Boulder, Colorado was visionary. They saw this years ago and allowed it to happen, but some courts have concern over privacy. And so I don't get to see Chaz on the internet like I do her.
Wow. And you also, it's helped you with your schoolwork as well. Doesn't your daddy help you with your homework and things like that?
She's a real mathlete, right? I mean, so they do problems together. But again, I think the important thing is that it cannot substitute for these visits that they have with one another. High tech is not a substitute for high touch,
High touch.
in terms of what kids need. So I do think that this is something that, as long as it's really monitored and it's done in a way that doesn't become a substitute, I think it can be a great boost.
Wow, for 9 years, you're computer savvy, aren't you, Ariel? Well, Chuck and Ariel, thank you very much. Annie, this is something that a lot of families, it helps them. I know you don't want to be apart from each other, and you're forced to do that, and so this is a way that you can stay closer, and you can see her little tooth growing in. All right, we appreciate that. The close-up, you're ready for your close-up. Thank you, safe travels back.